Hi, I'm Ed the Color Scientist. Today I'm going to talk about Pantone Validated, what it is, how testing is done, and what it means for you, the consumer or manufacturer. First, Pantone Validated is a trademark, a white check mark on a blue background that signifies Pantone has tested a display or printer and it meets certain exacting standards. Think of Pantone Validated as a stamp of approval, the result of independent testing not unlike that conducted by Consumer Reports or Good Housekeeping. When you see the Pantone Validated symbol, you know the product you're buying has been carefully tested for true color representation. More specifically, when a monitor or printer is Pantone Validated, it means that, under the right conditions, it will display the full range of Pantone Formula Guide colors faithfully. Pantone Validated testing gauges many different criteria, including the white point of a monitor and gamma, which is how colors transition from light to dark. Having the right white point, or white color temperature, is arguably the most important factor in ensuring proper color representation. We also evaluate neutral colors from black to white and various levels of gray, all to ensure they are in fact neutral and not casting towards one color hue or another. Finally, we evaluate how all the colors in our Pantone Formula Guide are rendered in a specific mode of the tested display. Here I have a colorimeter called the i1 Display Pro, which is used to objectively measure the color output of a display. We measure white, neutrals, red, green, and blue, and all the Pantone colors on 3 sample products of any tested model. Then we average the results to make sure we have a good representation of how that model performs overall. In the end, we generate a detailed report that includes key metrics, graphical analyses, and an overall score. We post qualified models on our Pantone Validated webpage, and approved products can also use our friendly, recognizable Pantone Validated checkmark in their marketing. The Pantone Validated symbol lets creative professionals work with confidence, knowing that a display or printer meets Pantone's criteria for faithfully simulating all of the full range of Pantone Formula Guide colors. It also lets manufacturers identify themselves as having products that meet our high standards. Pantone remains perhaps the world's most recognizable name in color communication. Pantone Validated tells creative professionals they can trust the Pantone colors they see on their screens. In one location can be translated faithfully into products all around the globe. For example, a digital image created in Mumbai can be approved in Paris and produced in Chicago, and it will look like the person in India first imagined it. That's because, like each of you, every Pantone color has its own unique DNA. Its foundational spectral data is measured with a laboratory spectrophotometer, which sounds like a real thing and is a real thing too. Pantone uses master spectral data to formulate and quality control our Pantone guides and Pantone color swatches. This same color data is applied to various digital applications and software that render how Pantone colors look on your screens at home or in the office. And with Pantone Validated displays, know that our colors can be faithfully simulated, letting your creative come to life, fully supported by the interconnected world of Pantone color systems and products. Still, there are a few things to consider when comparing your displays to actual Pantone guides or swatches. Remember to use the right lighting conditions. Typically, optimal lighting is dialed into a color temperature of 6,500 degrees Kelvin, what we consider noon daylight. For highly critical color judgments, a standardized light booth can be used as well. When viewing accurate physical Pantone color materials under the right lighting conditions, an artist with normal color vision should see an accurate simulation of the full range of Pantone colors on a Pantone Validated display. But even with a Pantone Validated display in your creative workspace, there are other steps needed to maximize its full potential. First, remember the Pantone Validated evaluation is conducted in a very specific display mode. You might have settings like theater mode, gaming mode, dramatic mode, sports modes, default mode, etc. Only one of those modes was used for Pantone validation, so you want to set your monitor to that same mode when working to see colors the way Pantone evaluated them. Second, if you use physical Pantone materials as a comparison tool, know that they degrade over time with exposure to light or heavy use. It's recommended that you replace your physical guides every 18 months or so. But even if your guide isn't faded quite yet, remember that Pantone introduces new colors to its collections regularly to keep pace with global color trends. If your printed guides are 6 or 7 years old, you could be missing up to 1,000 colors, so make sure you stay current with your Pantone guides and references. Furthermore, you might want to consider the color neutrality of your workspace and clothing, as both can impart a color cast that affects how you perceive colors on your screen. If you're wearing red clothing, for example, or you're sitting in a room that's painted green, those surrounding hues will influence how you see color on your display, even when the display is set to render colors accurately. Having a relatively neutral palette in your workspace is a best practice to follow when doing color critical work. Without reevaluating your display periodically, you may not realize the changes that occur. To measure and even correct these changes, consider a relatively inexpensive monitor calibration tool to keep everything level set so you can stay focused on being creative. So that's a quick tour through Pantone Validated, how it works, why it's important when choosing a new monitor or printer, and why manufacturers should have their products tested to show the Pantone Validated mark of quality. And really, who doesn't want to feel validated, right? Until next time, I'm Ed the Color Scientist. Thanks for watching.